Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Right, so in this one we're going to talk about the last element in the Crave success model. We're going to talk about energy. We've talked about commitment, we've talked about responsibility, we've talked about taking action, we've talked about the value of time, and now we're going to talk about a very important element in the journey to success. It's what we call energy. Energy is very important in order for you to be successful. If I look at the most successful people, they are the people with the most energy. They don't walk to meetings, they charge to meetings. They don't, when they speak, they're very energetic, they're very enthused, they're very passionate when they speak. Even if they're very soft spoken, or when they speak to something that's on the line, the highest values, they take massive action to that because they're coming from a place of abundance and they're taking a lot of action to that. So an action and energy is very important for you to take your massive action for you to be successful. In order for electricity to flow, the light switch needs to be on, and in order for your dreams to be materialized, the flow of energy needs to be high and it needs to be charged, and you need massive amounts of energy to reach your goals and dreams, because it's actually hard. It's really hard, and the road to success is something that you have to do over a sustained period of time. So you actually have to love what you're doing, and once you love what you're doing, you're going to have a lot of energy. So here are some elements we can talk about in making the most of energy. The very first thing is that you need to be in alignment with your purpose, your highest values, your cause, your belief. Remember, I've said before that you cannot get a person to act contrary to what their values would dictate, and the things that are highest on your values, you focus towards, you're energized by, and you just want to go after 100% every day, all day. And that is what is necessary for you to have massive amounts of energy. Because when you're aligned with your purpose, when you wake up early, you go to sleep late, and when you go to sleep, you've got more energy than you had in the beginning when you started off. So you align with your highest purpose. Because if you align with things that are not your highest purpose, you're going to feel sluggish, you're not going to feel inspired, and you're going to have a lack of energy, which is a travesty, because you need a massive amounts of energy for you to reach your goal. That's one thing. The other thing is that you need to follow the right diets and exercise patterns in order for you to have massive amounts of energy. Now, I am not a health or wellness expert, but you actually don't need to be for you to realize that the more restful sleep that you get, and when I say sleep, I'm talking about sleep to renew your reserves, not sleep to avoid your day, because that's a different story. But sleep to renew your reserves, and having the right diet. And there are certain foods that carry a different vibrational energy to them. There are certain foods you know which foods those are, that once you eat them, you start feeling sluggish and lower in energy. And there are other foods that when you consume them, you're going to have higher energy. And that I'll leave for you to go and do some research on, and go to a nutritionist and take your blood test, so that you can understand what diets that you should be following in order for you to have massive amounts of energy. And also, what you need to do is exercise a lot. I read an article about Mark Cuban, the big billionaire in the United States, who owns the Denver Nuggets, I think. Is it Denver Nuggets? Yeah, he owns a big basketball team. We'll verify that fact later on. He wakes up every single morning, and every single day he does a cardio for an hour every single day, and that allows him to have massive amounts of energy. And one South African here I have, Mr. Adrian Gore. I was speaking with a good friend of mine, Alec Chingapi. Hey Alec. He said to me that where he stays, he will see Adrian Gore, the CEO of Discovery, running every single morning, or running 10Ks every single weekend, because this man absolutely understands the importance of physical activity, so that he has massive amounts of energy to build the empire that he's building. The other thing about energy that you have to understand is that try to have the practice of waking up early. There's something called the 5 a.m. club. I heard this first from Robin Sharma, and then I did a lot of research into the most successful people. You'll find the most successful people wake up 3 hours before their workday actually starts. So they take what they call a holy hour, where they exercise, where they journal, and then they have their breakfast and their good nutritious breakfast for their minds to be conditioned for them to take on the day, and they have massive amounts of energy as a result. Another thing for you to cultivate massive amounts of energy is for you to practice good self-visualization. And there's a difference between self-visualization and imagination. And when I say self-visualization, imagination, I want you to take some time out to think of the person that you want to become, the highest vision of yourself, the highest version of yourself. And what you need to do is think about the person, sit down and visualize the person in front of you, the person that you want to become. And in your mind, visualize yourself stepping into that person. And then think and then feel, how would that person be thinking? What would the person be doing? How would that person be acting? How would it feel to be that person? And if you do this exercise consistently, it's a form of meditation. You start having a lot more energy, because you are aligned to this purpose and you're aligned to a dream vision, and it's something that you can see out in front of you. Another thing for you to have massive amounts of energy is to practice positive self-talk. And I'm not going to talk about just positive self-affirmations, but positive self-talk, because we are our biggest bullies and our energy stealers. We beat ourselves up, and we talk ourselves down. The biggest critic you'll ever have is that voice inside your head that says you can't do something, or you're not worthy, or you're never going to be loved. What you must do is look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that I'm definitely worthy, or I'm worthy of love. One of the things that I like to do, I'm going to take the liberty to do so, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali. There's a speech that he always says, and I say to myself, in order to get my energies up there, I remember it was 1974 in Kinshasa, Zaire, when he was being interviewed just before the fight before Big George Foreman. You remember, he was a very big underdog. And then he would go off and he looked at the reporter, and the reporter said, "What is it that you think?" And he went into this intense monologue when he said, "It is befitting that I leave the game just like I came in, beating a big bad monster who knocks out everybody and no one can whoop him." That's when the little Cassius Clay from Louisville, Kentucky came up and stopped Sonny Liston, the man who annihilated Floyd Patterson twice. He was gonna kill me, but he hit harder than George. His reach was longer than George. He was a better boxer than George. And I'm better now than I was back then when you saw the 22-year-old undeveloped kid run from Sonny Liston. I'm experienced now, professional. Jaws been broke, been lost, knocked down a couple of times. I'm bad. Been chopping trees. I've done something new for this fight. I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right, I done wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, and I've thrown thunder in jail. Because I'm bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. Man, I'm so mean I make medicine sick. Last night I cut the lighter from my bedroom, hit the switches on my bed for the rumors, dog. I'm afloat like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. Now you see me and now you don't. You think you will, but I know you won't. They say you're good, but I'm twice as nice. I'm gonna stick to you like white on rice. I'm gonna show you how great I am. I have a lot of fun doing that every single day. So a lot of my parents think that I'm crazy. My mom was like, "What is going on with you?" I'm like, "I'm practicing positive self-talk, Mom." So I tell people to do. So those are the things about energy. And until you have strong and massive amounts of energy, you will struggle to be successful. So that wraps up the characteristics of successful people according to the CRAVE model: commitment, responsibility, action, value of time, and having high amounts of energy. The next section, we're going to talk about holistic wellness. And remember, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
It can be the day that turns your life around. All you need is a reason to turn you on. Today, my life changes. Now, who can do that? Anybody. When can you do it? Whatever day you pick.